All right, let's get straight into it. So today we're going to talk about the elephant in the room, the one thing that every single homeowner wants to know, the one thing that almost every remodeler refuses to talk about, which is money. Specifically, how to talk about remodeling costs on your website. So if you're a design build remodeler at GC or running a sales team in the trades, this is the most important marketing shift you will make this year. I'm going to show you exactly why hiding your prices is destroying your close rate. And I'm going to give you the exact framework today on how to fix it. So let me paint a picture for you that I know you're living right now. You get a lead, you qualify them on the phone, or at least you think you do. You drive 45 minutes to their house, you spend 2 hours walking the property, you're measuring the kitchen, talking about that dream island and the custom cabinets from Italy, and you drive back and you spend another 3 hours building out the most perfect proposal ever, and you send it over, and then crickets. They ghost you. Why? Because they saw the price and they had a heart attack. They had a $15,000 budget and you just pitched them an $80,000 kitchen. And you just wasted 6 hours of your life, and multiply that by 3 bad appointments a week, and you are bleeding time. You think this is a sales problem. You think your guys need better closing techniques. You are wrong. This is a marketing problem. 46% of homeowners do not hire the first remodeler they contact. They shop around, and if you are wasting time on the ones who can't afford you, then you're missing out on the ones that can. So the root cause of the problem is hiding your prices is costing you your best clients. When a homeowner lands on your website and they cannot find a single number, they do not think, oh, I guess I'll just call them and ask. That is not how human beings behave in 2026. When they can't find a number, they assume one of three things. Number one, you are too expensive for them. Number two, you are hiding something, which means you're going to bait and switch them down the line. Or three, you are not confident in your own value, so you have to get them on the phone to sell them and win them. In all three scenarios, you lose. They leave your site, they go find a competitor who will give them a straight answer, and you're losing. So let's flip the script and look at this through the eyes of a buyer. So imagine you're buying a car and you go to the dealership's website and you see a truck you like, but there are no prices anywhere, just a big button that says call for a custom quote. What do? You leave immediately and you go to CarMax or Carvana or another dealer's website that actually tells you what the thing costs. Your homeowners are doing the exact same thing on your website right now. And the number one question every buyer has, whether they're buying a car, a software subscription, or a luxury kitchen, is how much is this going to cost me? And if you refuse to answer their most important question, you lose the right to be their trusted guide. And in the remodeling industry, trust is the only currency that matters. Homeowners are terrified, and they are terrified of getting ripped off. They are terrified of contractors who take their deposit and disappear. And they are terrified of a project that was supposed to take 6 weeks dragging on for 6 months. Transparency is the ultimate trust builder, and the contractor who is willing to talk openly about money is automatically the most credible one in the room. Marcus Sheridan built his entire philosophy around this called They Ask, You Answer. And the premise is simple. When you answer the questions everyone else avoids, you become the authority. When you are the only remodeler in your market who says, here's exactly how much your kitchen costs, and here is why, you don't just build trust, you start to own the market. So, now, I know you're thinking, I hear the same 3 excuses from every contractor I talk to about them, so let's just bust them out right now. So excuse number 1 is every project is custom. I can't give a price without seeing the house. Listen to me. Nobody's asking you for a to-the-penny quote on your website. They're just asking for like a roadmap. They want a ballpark. They want to know if a kitchen remodel is $15,000 or $85,000. You show your averages or ranges. You show them what your last 10 kitchens cost and share those averages. Then you educate the buyers on price ranges. It's not going to give away your margin. It's building trust before they ever pick up the phone. Excuse number 2. If I put my prices online, my competitors will see them and undercut me. If your only competitive advantage is being the cheapest guy in town, you've already lost. High-end clients, the ones spending $100,000 on a renovation, are not shopping for the lowest bid. They're shopping for the least risk and the best outcome. Let the cheap competitors race to the bottom. Let them fight over the nightmare clients who argue over that $50 change order. You are not competing on price. You're competing on trust, quality, and confidence. And lastly, excuse number 3, if I put $80,000 on my website, it will scare people away. I always say good. You want to scare them away. You want to scare away the homeowner who has a $5,000 budget for a $60,000 kitchen. Look at this funnel. Disqualifying bad leads at the top of the funnel before they ever call you is just as valuable as closing good ones at the bottom. Every hour you spend driving to the house of a prospect who can't afford you is an hour you didn't spend following up with the ones that you can, or can afford you. Transparency filters the noise. It acts as a bouncer at the door of your business, only letting the qualified buyers in. So now, how do we actually execute all this? I'm going to give you a simple 4-step framework that you can use to write the pricing page on your website today. No fluff, just the blueprint. So step 1, we want to acknowledge the elephant. So step 2, we want to explain the variables. Step 3, we want to give ranges. And step 4, we want to define the value. So let's break down each one. So step 1 is simple. You start the page by saying it's tough to give an exact price without seeing your home, which is true, but we believe in transparency. Here's what you can generally expect, and then boom, trust is starting to be established. Step 2 is explain the variables. So don't just throw that $80,000 number at them. Explain what drives the costs up and down of it, and how the market factors and how different companies compare to yours. So typically there are 3 main buckets here. First, you're going to have materials. Explain the difference between custom cabinets and stock cabinets, quartz versus laminate. The finishes are a big variable, and homeowners need to understand this, that their Pinterest board dictates the budget. Second, the scope. Are we moving plumbing? Are we tearing down load-bearing walls? Are we just replacing fixtures? Structural changes multiply the cost. And third, expertise. Explain that they're paying for a dedicated project manager, licensed tradesman, a clean job site, a guaranteed timeline. They're paying for peace of mind. Step 3, we're going to give them ranges. So give them a map. So because lost people do not buy. So create a simple table like this. So cosmetic kitchen refresh, 25 to 40,000, mid-range, 40 to 70, and the full custom luxury kitchen, 75 to $150,000 plus. Do the same for your bathrooms, do the same for full home renovations, and then always put a note at the bottom that these are ranges, not quotes. Every project is different. When a homeowner sees this, they immediately start to self-qualify. The person with the $10,000 budget realizes that they need to save up and they don't waste your time. And the person with $100,000 says, okay, these guys are in my league, let's give them a call. Step 4 is where you're going to close the deal. So this is what Alex Mosey says is the value equation. You have to define the value. You have to explain that why your $85,000 kitchen is a better investment than the other guy's $60,000 kitchen. Don't justify the price. Explain the nightmare you prevent and the dream you're going to deliver. The nightmare is budget overruns, time delays that drag on for months, contractors who don't answer the phone, shoddy workmanship, constant stress. That's what the $60,000 guy is going to get them. The dream you deliver is complete peace of mind, a guaranteed timeline, flawless craftsmanship, a dedicated PM who actually answers the phone, and a beautiful home that they're obviously proud to show off. When you frame it like that, that extra $25,000 is an expense. It's an insurance policy against a nightmare. So now that you have the content, where does it go? It needs to live in 3 specific places. First, create a dedicated pricing page. Put it right in your main navigation menu or the nav bar. Call it pricing or investment. Do not bury it in a blog. Do not hide it in an FAQ. It needs to be findable in under 5 seconds, because that's how long it takes for the homeowner to leave your website. Second, your learning center or blog. Write specific articles like how much does a kitchen renovation cost in whatever city you're in 2026. These articles will rank on Google and YouTube for years. They will bring qualified, pre-educated prospects on autopilot while you sleep. And third, most important, is your sales process. So you can say something like, send the pricing article to the prospect before you get there and say, please read this before we meet. So that way we're on the same page about budgets. So this brings us to CO7, assignment selling. So if you know Marcus Sheridan, he talks about how you can increase your close rates by assigning pieces of content throughout the sales process. Sending pricing is a huge part of it. So before you ever put the keys in the ignition to drive to a prospect's house, you send them your pricing page. You use this exact script. I want to make sure we're aligned on budget before we meet. This article explains how our pricing works and what to expect. Please read it before our appointment. And if they read it and cancel an appointment, congratulations. You just saved yourself 3 hours of driving, measuring, and another 3 hours of writing a dead proposal. If they read it and they still show up, you're walking into a meeting with a prospect who's already educated, already pre-qualified, and far more likely to close. That data is undeniable. Pre-educated prospects close at a significantly higher rate and waste far less of your time. So when you implement this, everything changes. You're going to stop competing on price. You start dominating your market. You will have fewer wasted opportunities and appointments with unqualified leads, and you will have way higher quality prospects who arrive pre-educated and ready to buy. And you will build a reputation as the most transparent, trustworthy remodeler in your market. And I want you to remember this: transparency is not a marketing tactic. It's a business strategy. The remodeler who answers the hard questions owns the market. So I'm going to leave you with a challenge. As this video is over, go to your website and look through it with the eyes of the homeowner. Can you find a straight answer about money in under 60 seconds? If the answer is no, you are losing deals today. You're bleeding revenue to the guy down the street who's willing to be honest. Write down your average project costs, write down 3 variables that move the price. That is your first piece of content. Start there. You can post on social media, your website, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, create a newsletter about it, however you want to do it. Just do it and start there. And if you want to stop relying on unpredictable referrals and start building a machine that brings in high-end, pre-qualified leads on autopilot, that is exactly what we do. At Constructive Marketing, we build local families, campaigns, and exclusive growth systems for design, build, remodelers chasing 75 to 300K projects. We only partner with one remodeler per market, so we're never competing against ourselves. So go to constructivemarketing.com or call the number on the screen. Let's build a system that scales your business and gets you to your time back. Thanks for watching. Now go fix your website.